Hey, hello lovelies. I almost postponed recording this video probably because this is exactly the video I need to record today for my own spiritual and emotional self-care. And so I decided to come on and be real and vulnerable and in this moment with you so that you can see what this personal peace process looks like and how I use EFT with myself, and how you might at some point, you can start learning how to use emotional freedom techniques for yourself. I'm Sondra Turnbull. Welcome to Goddess Kindled Universe. This is day 8 of 15 days of self-care, of embodying magic. And I'm going to be talking to you today about an EFT personal peace process, what it looks like, why I use it, and just giving you an introduction. Now, this by no means is an exhaustive lesson. This is a 10 to 15 minute video, an introduction into what this stuff looks like. It's a very elegant and subtle system. Many people don't use tapping properly. They don't use it's an amazingly encompassing therapy, and it can just do so much more than people understand it can do. And what I will do is attach a link in the notes of this video. I'll go back when I finish and put a link in to the full tutorial, the full gold standard tutorial that Gary Craig, who is the founder of EFT, has made available for free on his website. Now, there's a lot of information there, so it will only be those of you who really, really are interested in the full process, either to build into your therapeutic practice or, as a serious self-study. It's only you who will probably get right into it, because there's a lot of information. It is a full it encompasses everything, but it's excellent. And I encourage any of you who are interested to click on that link that I'll put in and have a look. But today, I'll start. Last night, I did a coaching session with some of my ecology colleagues. We did a breakthrough session, and I had I dipped into a moment in my past, a very uncomfortable moment that seems to be the root cause of several, it's one of those things that ripple through your life. Happened when I was a young teenager, about 13 or 14. And I knew it was there. I've looked at it before. I knew it was a problem. But I just seem to be in the right place now to really start doing some work on it. And so yesterday I asked you to identify 3 things that bother you, 3 moments in your life that bother you. Now, the way that you use that, I will use this situation of mine as an example. The first thing to do when you want to do some EFT with yourself is to identify a specific event. And so out of the things you've written down, have a look at each of them. And a specific event is something that is maybe 1 to 3 minutes long, a specific moment that happened, something that you can run in your mind as a movie, give a title to, that time. For me, I'll use my example, that time the bully followed me home from school. Okay, so that is longer than 1 to 3 minutes. So what I will do to work on it today is to bring it down to the crescendo, the moment when the emotional spike peaked the highest. And as I'm talking about it, I can feel my emotional intensity rising. So when you look at your moments, if that is happening for you, stop and take the edge off. So I'll continue to explain to you how to identify a specific event in a moment. But if you can feel your intensity your emotional intensity sort of rising up. And you'll notice it in your body because your breathing will change, or you'll feel a tightness in your body, or you'll feel tensions in your shoulders maybe, or there'll be some kind of indicator to you that your emotional intensity is rising. If that happens, at any point during the process, if that happens, stop. And what I'm going to show you now is what it looks like to tap through the points. So this is what is called the basic recipe. There are different points which I will specifically identify in a moment. Well, I'll do it now. This is called the setup point, or the karate chop point. If you hold your hand like that, it's the soft fleshy part of your hand that you would, if you were going to karate chop something, that's what would hit. When you're setting up to start tapping through the points, you start here. The language is this. Even though I can feel the intensity of my emotions rising when I think about working with this event, I deeply and completely accept myself. Working with this event, 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 working with this event. Now you will have noticed that I sighed a couple of times. That is an excellent indicator that my system is relaxing. And you can feel it. You can feel kind of a release in the emotional intensity of the thing you're thinking about when you do this. And so that is an example of the basic recipe of taking the edge off an emotionally intense situation on which I intend to work. So then I will shrink my event down to the crescendo. So my specific event will be when that bully pushed me in my back and said mean things about my saxophone, because I was carrying my saxophone home, and she'd followed me all the way home from school. I can talk about this like in a light way because I'm not going down into it, but when I really go down into it, it starts to get emotionally intense. So what I would do is identify that little moment and then do this basic recipe and use setup language specific to your event. So before you even start, you do a check-in and see how intense the emotion feels for this specific slice of this specific moment of your life, this little 1 to 3 minute slice of your life. And if it's too intense to even think about, you might like to, for your first time, work on something that is a little less intense. If it's really, really difficult and you don't feel like you can even put language to it, it might even be something that you would consider working with an EFT therapist about, so they can hold you through that. Because this process is a lot more complex than it is presented. It's easy to do, but you need to be aware and dedicated, and you need to be able to hold yourself through this stuff. And many people have such traumatic events in their past, they need someone else to hold them while they work through it. So don't be scared to find out who is an EFT therapist. If this is the kind of thing that interests you, look out reach out to me, and I'll try and, I'm an EFT therapist. You're always welcome to contact me and have a look at my website, holistictherapy.goddesskindled.com, or just Google Goddess Kindled, and you'll find it. But this is stuff that you can do for yourself, but if it's very painful, I do encourage you to find someone who can help you. work through it. And this is really so complex. I think I'll probably develop a course, like a personal peace process course, that will take you into this stuff in a more granular fashion, because it really, to do it justice, it really needs to have some time spent on each of these things. As I'm talking through it now, I realize that there's just so much information here. And so I've shown you what it looks like. It looks a bit weird when people, tapping on myself. I've explained just a tiny little bit of how you can identify moments in your life on which you might like to work. And I do encourage you to have a look at the link that I promise I'll post it in the notes of this video, to go through and just have a bit more of a read about what I've started to. If you're curious about it, just have a read, because I promise you'll find it fascinating. There's just too much to cover here in 15 minutes, but this will start you on your personal peace process. Please comment in the video, #replay if you're watching this on replay. Now ask me any questions you have. I'm happy to answer specific questions. Send me a private message. Happy to answer any of your specific questions about this. And I promise I'll put together a more comprehensive course to take you through this really, really amazing and completely magical and process for cultivating peace in your life. It's a really important part of my spiritual self-care. I'm actually going to sit with this today and work on the breakthrough that I had last night with the bully following me home, pushing me in my back, pushing my saxophone case, because it really is core to stuff that I'm releasing at the moment. So I will spend quite a bit of time on that today, but it'll take much longer than... I'm up to 15 minutes already, almost, darlings. So please ask me questions. I promise I'll answer them. This is really important stuff. I really hope that you read through the link. And I know I've started to repeat myself again. So I'm glad I came on, because it really indicates to me how important it is for me to communicate all of this stuff to you, and how much time it's actually going to take. So I will get on that and make it the very next thing, the very next course that I develop for you, because that's how important it is. I feel like I haven't given you enough today, but that could be just the space that I'm in and the fact that I really need to do this work for myself. And so when I see you tomorrow, we'll be, let me see, what are we doing tomorrow? I'm going to introduce you to Reiki. So that actually will be really, really good, because I'll need to hold myself in a little bit of compassionate space tomorrow. And so that will be lovely. Yeah, this whole course is just an introductory skim across the surface, peek into all of the different ways that I work with energy medicine, the ways that I work with clients in therapy, and how I help them to find their own healing. I hope you come back tomorrow. Please put all your comments in, and hopefully this hasn't been too confused and fragmented. I have a feeling it might be, but I'm going to put it live anyway, and I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, sweethearts.